Hi, I wanted to talk about my coding story. Here's how I got started. I'm a young kid growing up in Southeast Michigan. My biggest fears are killer bees and the nuclear apocalypse. One day, my oldest brother, Andy, comes home excited, talking about a new arcade game that he and his friends played at Mickey Rat's, the local arcade. Pac-Man. He describes the player controlling a little yellow mouth that runs around eating white dots and colorful blobs, filling my head with visions of magical game-playing thrills. I'm so excited that my head might burst like a Cronenberg scanner. I'm dropping pilfered quarters into these game cabinets at the back of dim, smoky bowling alleys. At this time, at any electronic shop I can find, I'm taking every opportunity to sit down at a computer and find a game to play for free. I think this helped me develop my skill for annoying people to get what I want. Finally, my mom gave in and sprung for one. So now I'm sitting in the basement of my mom's house playing games and writing programs for my Commodore 64. This is my first exposure and experience with code. I'm writing BASIC and trying to learn assembly language because of the promise of writing games that are really fast. Fast forward a few years, I've joined jazz band at the high school. I'm playing bass. I'm playing gigs and thinking about going off to school and saving money and driving around delivering pizzas. I haven't got time to sequence music in my basement. In fact, I don't have time for computing at all. I forget about it for the next 7 or 8 years. So now I'm studying jazz music at the University of North Texas. And a small group of friends and we get together and we play Doom 2 on these networked PCs in this computer lab from after the lab closes, I think 10 p.m. or something like that, until the sun comes up. This is just so much fun. And besides that, I'm exploring the World Wide Web using Yahoo and downloading every game I can get my hands on. I teach myself some basic HTML and CSS. I build my own personal website on GeoCities. I keep learning and expanding my skills, but not so much JavaScript. Keep in mind, this is like the .com boom around the year 2000, and JavaScript was pretty much a piece of shit back then. I start building websites for money around this time, and I'm making 80 times what I would typically make playing a gig. Like a jazz gig or a wedding gig. I discovered some new animation software that's called Macromedia Flash to create animations for small banner ads. During the same time, on another note, I'm playing a hell of a lot of music around clubs in New York City, having a blast and getting completely hammered several times a week. So now I'm in my 30s. I'm kind of giving up on this idea of performing music all the time. I like working with computers. I decide that I want to do computer animation. I start taking life drawing classes. I'm totally changing directions in my life. I go back to school for computer animation. While studying and getting fatter, I gave up on trying to be fit. I get back into writing code. I'm writing ActionScript. I've become obsessed with creating interactivity and art with code, mostly thanks to my exposure to an artist named Joshua Davis. His stuff was so fucking cool. I'm also learning Alias Maya animation software. So I'm doing this for a while, doing some freelance gigs, teaching a little bit, not very steady stuff. Find myself applying to a job at the New York Times as a rich media specialist. I'm the guy who fixes the flash ads for them. And I'm in a position to learn JavaScript for real now. It's 2010. Get this book by Douglas Crockford called JavaScript, The Good Parts, and learn it. I get better and better. I learn more and more about JavaScript, and I'm learning WebGL as well. Super cool. All this time, I'm rubbing shoulders with superb engineers in a great culture that promotes learning and development. I met my soon-to-be ex-wife. I got married, and we moved in together. We're trying to make a baby. I teach myself WebGL in a cramped little apartment and proceed to lecture on that at work. What a thrill. What a thrill. I start to feel like a badass. My son is born. I'm a father now. I find more joy than I ever could have imagined raising my son. Find a new job across the continent, pack all our stuff up, put it in a van, and we fly to Seattle. Gradually, I become aware that the culture of software engineering in Seattle is very different than on the East Coast. And I come up against a lot of rejection and realize that there are pretty significant holes in my knowledge and skills. I'm self-taught. I never got an engineering degree, and there's some gaps. So I dabble at filling those holes by studying algorithms and data structures and other CS 101 topics. I teach myself to do GraphQL, and I get a gig doing GraphQL, like a greenfield gig writing a cool technology. Wow, what an amazing experience that was. And I'm with a great group. I'm a lucky man. Software engineering has really been an excellent career path for me.